What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to my channel. So a few weeks back, I put out a video about the top girl group punk covers in the scene. Well, today I am back for round two, except we're flipping the switch this time, and we're going to be talking about boy band covers. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Sage, aren't pop punk bands technically already boy bands to begin with? Well, you have a point, and I have touched on this subject in a previous video many moons ago, but essentially the answer is yes and no. I'll get more into it in that video than I will in this one, but basically these are just going to be straight covers of boy band songs from all the way back to like the 50s and 60s through today. Before we begin, I am going to note that most of the bands on this list are smaller bands. They are not any bands that were included on the original Punk Goes Pop, Punk Goes Crunk, Punk Goes 90s, whatever compilations. These are all bands that I think deserve a place on this list despite not being on any compilation. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one, which is a cover of Do You Love Me by the Dollyrots, originally by the Contours. I mean, who's ready to go down to the sock hop? That's really the first thing that comes to mind when I hear this cover. This really is just like the perfect band to cover this song. They already have this like old school punk vibe about them, and I love that they stayed true to the original, especially with that volume decrease about 2/3 in. It really added that necessary punch. Yeah, I think this is a masterful cover. It definitely reintroduces this song to younger generations. Second up on this list is a classic. We have a cover of I Want You Back by Abandoned by Bears, originally by the Jackson 5. This cover really just is the perfect blend between soul and pop punk. The production of this is phenomenal. I'll also highlight that it has really good placement of gang vocals. I feel like a lot of bands just throw them in there for the hell of it, but this one actually spaces them out pretty diligently. The key change toward the end was handled well, and it adds a new spin to the original, which didn't have one before. Overall, solid cover. It's just plain fun. Third up on this list is a cover of the hit song Bop by Leo, originally by Hanson. Now, in all honesty, they didn't really change anything up musically in this cover, but the vocals are what gives it that new metal twist. This is what I imagine the theme song for like a 90s children's television cartoon would be if it was performed by like Disturbed. All jokes aside, I love what they did in the bridge. It's a total change up from the original and it fits great. Fourth up on this list is a cover of All My Life by Let's Get It, originally by Casey and JoJo. Not gonna lie, certain parts of this sound like something you would hear on like Punk Goes Crunk, but it quickly gets over that to hop into the rest of the song. The first verse almost gives me like early 2000s singer-songwriter vibes, like think like Ryan Cabrera, but the rest reminds me of like all of that heavily synthesized neon pop punk of the time, like Forever the Sickest Kids or the Friday Night Boys. Ironically, the end of this song is just perfection for me. I love when bands do that slow radio effect fade out at the end of their songs. Think the song 21st Century Breakdown. Yeah, I think they crushed it. I will be humming along to it all my life. Hopefully my life doesn't go on for much longer. Moving to the halfway point of this list is a big one. We have a cover of Larger Than Life by Ready Steady Steroids. Yes, that's their actual name. Originally by the Backstreet Boys. I'm just gonna get right to the point. It's a pretty literal translation of the song, but it still slaps. Very nicely done on the harmonies in the bridge, followed by a pretty savvy guitar solo. The production value is clearly there. They sure know how to put out a good cover from their others, e.g. You Found Me by The Fray, Here With Me by Marshmello, etc. Covers seem to be what this band is mostly known for, so this is just another one for the books. At number 6 is a cover of Summer Girls by A Change of Pace, originally by LFO. This song to begin with is basically a joke song. The lyrics are kind of nonsensical, but they could get away with it at the time it was released because there were certainly weirder songs during the 90s at this time. Also, this cover 100% reminds me of the song Little Things by Good Charlotte. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this is where they got their inspiration for this cover. This cover almost, like very much emphasis on the almost, makes me nostalgic enough to brave walking into what is essentially the bog of Abercrombie and Fitch to get those like layerable polo shirts that everyone was sporting in the early 2000s. Like, that's the vibe. And fashion has only gotten so much better since. At number 7 is one that I just adore, and I'm gonna get more into that in a minute. The song is Pop, covered by Villain of the Story, originally by NSYNC. This cover is hands down, like a heavy hands down, 7-Up style, head on the desk. In fact, I'm gonna stand up for this one because it deserves it. All of the certified Punk Goes compilation albums included. This is my favorite punk cover of a pop song of all time, no cap. There's not a single thing about this cover that I don't like. I think this is just as good as the original, if not better. And that do take nerve to say, given that I was Team NSYNC in the 90s and early 2000s when I was like a wee lass. So a job well done. You really just have to listen to it to know where I'm coming from. They definitely did not do pop dirty. Let's just put it that way. At number 8 is a cover of Perfect by Across the Atlantic, originally by One Direction. Obviously, this is one of One Direction's lesser known hits. This song is supposed to be not exactly a ballad, but more of like a slowed down alt pop love song, which this band definitely kept the tone of in the cover. However, they did end up speeding the pace up a bit, which I think makes it more fun to listen to since it made it a lot dancier. The combo of orchestral effects mixed with easy chord breakdowns throughout it is an interesting choice, but I ultimately like it. It's perfect for me. Second to last on this list is one that I've already talked about before a while back, but it still holds up today. That cover is of Sucker by Not My Weekend, originally by the Jonas Brothers. See, I wish they hadn't made it so similar to the original, but for what it is, they did the damn thing and the production sounds great. I feel like it's hard to do a rock cover of a Jonas Brothers song because they're technically still a rock group, question mark. I mean, they're about as rock as Maroon 5. They do change it up at the end of the second chorus with this like weird sci-fi synth part if you're looking for something new. But for the most part, you get what you get and you don't get upset, sucker. And finally, last but not least on this list is another cover that I've already talked about on this channel in my viral TikToks video, but the cover is of Dynamite by Brooke Lane, originally by BTS. I really wanted to find a good pop punk cover of their newer single, Butter, but sadly one doesn't exist yet as far as I know. But anyway, this cover swaps out the 70s inspired disco vibe of the original for a more modern, straightforward pop punk sound. I don't know what it is, but I really enjoy the lead singer's vocals here. He strives to add his own riffs and note changes throughout the cover to break up the monotony of it. They handled the key change well. Again, this is just a really good cover. It's Dynamite at the very least. So that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a like below. What is your favorite boy band of all time? If applicable, make sure to tell me in the comment section below. Also, if you're new to my channel, hello, how's it going? Make sure to hit the garbage out of that subscribe button, also hitting the bell icon next to it to get the first notice of when my videos go up. I upload every Thursday. To all of my subscribers who have been here before, thank you so much for watching week after week. It really does mean so much to me. Well, I think it's about that time again for me to relive my childhood years and cry in a corner, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!